So first of all, a quick introduction about myself. As Joao said, I've been working in digital marketing for a while now. I've been working with mainly agency side, working for agencies based in London in the UK, all since 2015. What is most interesting is that I've been I got an experience. I got a past as a recruiter, so I really used to be in love with all the profession as a recruiter, and I used to work for this huge American company called Manpower. This was a few years ago, but still, part of the online business recruitment and all of this. Since also a contributor of a search engine land, I recommend you to have a look at this guide. So I published just a few months ago this guide about Google for Jobs, which basically is summing up all my knowledge about the topic. We're talking about what is Google for Jobs, the kind of perks you have if you join, if you try Google for Jobs with your company, how to set it up, what about the schema markup, and how to improve the performance with the job ad copy, title, and all these kind of things. But let's not wait anymore, and let's jump straight into my top 10 tips about how to master Google for Jobs. So first of all, the main one is about keyword research. So one of the main things in Google for Jobs is that you need to be careful, as per a normal page on your website. You need to be really, really careful about how you craft your job ad. For example, if you're a company, you're an agency, you're looking for an SEO consultant, don't call SEO consultant with SEO guru, SEO super wizard, or SEO planner, or some other ones. First of all, you need to make sure that basically you need to talk the language of the people. So first of all, perform the key research. For example, here on the left, you can see SEO Planner has got a very, very weak low volume, like 200 keywords per 200 searches per month, where at the same time, SEO Consultant is much, much, much bigger. So to identify exactly what people are looking for when they want to apply for new jobs and to appear very, very high on the rankings on Google for Jobs, first recommendation: just be sure that you do the homework and you perform a really good key research. Second one is about the copy, the job ad itself. So the first thing you need to make sure is the job title has to be really clear, really concise. So don't put any acronyms. If you're looking for a vice president, don't put VP. If you're looking for an account director, just put AD. Don't put AD. Just put all the full name. Same for all the kind of jobs you might look for your company. So avoid any acronyms. Google is still able to understand all of this, but probably your rankings, they're not going to be as good as you wish. So if you want to have a full, really good performance in Google for Jobs, my recommendation is that just to keep it very, absolutely very simple. Another thing I recommend to do is about the job ad itself. So, for example, here we got a list of things to add to the job ad. Obviously, you can see something that you should be able to see in each job ad when you apply for a position. For example, the role description, responsibilities, skills, company intro, something like that. But to rank really, really high in Google for Jobs, best is to provide as many information as possible. For example, if you got desirable skills, just add them. Company information, talk about your company in a much wider way. If you got some information like working hours, salary, benefits, all this kind of information, they're really good if you want to reach top rankings. So all of these it's basically the first ones are kind of mandatory if you want to appear. But if you gather all this kind of information, then you're going to have a really, really good chances to appear, to rank very high in Google for Jobs. Another thing to consider is my tip number 4 is the location. Because when we're looking for when Google is serving the ads to the people that are looking for jobs, for example, if you live like in London, in central London, you're going to be served first all the companies that are they publish the ads, they put in the schema markup, the like central London location. So the closer you are to the job, to the schema markup that you put the address, the better. So when you publish a job ad, probably the best thing to do is just to put down like the street number, the postcode, and all the information that you need to provide more information to Google to provide that particular ad to the person most suitable for the job. We need to consider here something also things about like commuting. For example, you don't want a person like living like 2-3 hours away to apply for your job. It would be just a waste of time for both the company and the candidate. So talking about location, it's always a really, really good idea to put all the best information, all the most complete information to the job ad. But now, obviously, we're working in a very challenging times. So these are recommendation has been published on the Google website, the guidelines like recently. So let's say that you're a company, you're just hiring remotely at the moment. So the best thing to do is if you want to switch from like obviously people coming into the office, stuff like that, you can do it. You can expand it to as a remote job. This option was available also like before the crisis, but you can now set the location as well. So for example, if you put job location type telecommute, it's perfect. So it's going to be served as a remote job for all the people like in the world. They're looking for that particular jobs. But if you want to serve the ad to a very specific location, for example, a specific country, you can just add this line of code in the schema markup, which is application location requirements. For example, if you want just people that's living in your own country for tax reasons, or like if you got like different policy in your company, you can like narrow the way the job ad is served in Google for Jobs. So this is a really good recommendation from Google, which is quickly adapting to the times we are living at the moment. Another thing that I experience working on many clients in Google for Jobs is that there is a thing to consider when basically we are like publishing the ad. So you're going to receive a kind of like a quick boost when you're going to publish when your job ad is fresh, basically. So the best thing to do is if you're still looking for that person, is that to write a script where basically it's going to republish every like 30 days. So most of the job boards are doing that. And if you're working like in-house, or if you're like a consultant for a company, you can use this recommendation to appear, to have the rankings always very high when you're publishing job ad. Also, another thing to consider, and this is tips number 7, is about the expired listings. So let's say you're publishing something, and then you find a person, and then the job ad is still live. So Google at the beginning didn't really accounted for this. So it's the first month they just had like an awful lot of like job ads stay there. So the ad was visible on Google for Jobs, people clicking, but they just went to they're being redirected to a 404 page, which is obviously against really bad for user experience. So what they've done is that they became really, really strict about all of this. So if you publish a job ad, it has been good enough for Google for Jobs to be picked. The recommendation is that if you find that person, just take the page away or remove the job posting schema markup. these are both solutions that Google is happy with both of them. So my recommendation to avoid a manual penalty is probably a really good thing to do it like straight away. So this is another good recommendation. Dealing is more like management of all the job ads, but definitely a thing to consider. Now we can go down to the reporting. So talking about Google for Jobs, everything Google did a really, really great job in all of this. Because, for example, here the slide you can see is that I had a client with about like 90 job ads. So they were looking for 90 different figures. The problem is that when I started, I had lots of errors. Obviously, at the beginning, it's more kind of like a live and learn practice. And then you get down to warnings, which are okay. You can still rank very well, even if you got warnings. And then obviously you want to fix all of these to get all green as the example. It's all due to the schema markup. Basically, obviously the less you do all errors, warnings, the better is going to appear on Google for Jobs. It is all in Google Search Console, so it's very, very easy to find, and you can very, very easy to report in all of this. Another thing to consider, apart from the Google Search Console, is the traffic on analytics. So analytics is basically it's probably your best way to keep track of what is going on with all your job ads through Google for Jobs. The only thing you need to remember is that you should filter. So there is this kind of like keyword you should remember: Google Jobs Apply. Just copy and paste this one and put it as a filter in as a view in Google Analytics. So basically, it is a like really good way to track both application and traffic. And Analytics is already really, really good at tracking all of this. So there is also always a way to keep really good track accounts to be accountable for how good this channel is performing. And finally, my last recommendation is about Google Data Studio, because I will say basically Google Analytics is providing you all the information you need. So you got, for example, where the person was sending the application, clicking on the Google for Jobs, things about how many people click on the job ad, how many people applied. So all this information are freely available on Google Data Studio. I build a few dashboards for my clients. They're quite easy to set up. To be honest, it will not take more than a few minutes to set up a dashboard. And this is probably going to be really helpful for on the reporting side. Also, you want to track how you're performing. So you can, once you start, being more familiar with Google Analytics, Data Studio is definitely the next step. So once you monitor with Google Search Console and Data Studio, you probably got all the tools you need to perform really, really good in Google for Jobs. And that's all. So thank you very much for the attention. Hope you let me know if you got any questions.
Thank you so much, Marco. I actually have. I'm not saying in the chat, but I have a couple to you actually, because when we are talking about Google for Jobs, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this feature doesn't exist in Portugal, but exists, for example, in Brazil. We have a lot of Brazilian audience and people here attending this conference, and also in Spain, I believe. Am I correct?
It should be. Well, they tried for about 1 year in the US. And then I think in July 2018, they roll out to most of the countries. And definitely like Europe, Italy, Spain, probably pretty sure. Maybe I never tried with Portugal actually, but it's very simple. Just look for like something like SEO manager jobs once you're in Portugal, and you're going to see straight away if it's there or not.
And are we talking about that any company? For example, I have my company, and I have my HR department, and we want to internally advertise to everyone in our website. So what you are talking about, that's we should be doing that, not just for agencies. It's a kind of everyone. If you have a job and you want to advertising and to have a feature on Google, you should be doing that, right?
Yeah, so basically I would say probably the main reason why I'm so passionate about Google for Jobs, being also like having an experience as a recruiter, is that Google really provided in-house SEOs, marketers with the silver bullets to beat any job boards, any recruitment agencies, because you can do all of that for free. So if you're a big company, let's say that you're a huge company, like you got a supermarket chains, or you're a big retailer in the UK, we're probably talking about you're probably spending job ad spending. Probably we're talking about about $250,000 every year in LinkedIn, all the job boards. So there is a really huge potential of savings if you're using Google for Jobs properly, and there is nothing that can stop you to do that. So even if you got a website with 5 pages, you can add a 6th page with Google for Jobs and rank #1 and get all the applications you want.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Great tip, great presentation. Marco, thank you so much to be here. For those who doesn't know, Marco should be in Brighton, but seems like this year none
In
of the
October, should be in October now.
Is it confirmed?
Is it confirmed? Hopefully, we're going to be able to run it, as business usual. Hopefully.
So you already know, guys. If you want to travel to Brighton SEO conference, you will have the opportunity to meet Marco there. Marco, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joao. Cheers.